There is a gap here.
Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. Total world victory of Hare Krishna. My name is Sitapati Das, and this is Bhagavad-gita 141. And today I'm joined by Dana Devi, and our son Prahlad Nrsinga, and our daughter Isabella.
Say hello.
Hi.
Bhagavad-gita, the Song of God, Chapter 1, Arjuna Vishada Yoga, observing the armies on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, text number 41. Let's get the right screen up here. Click on that. Bhagavad-gita 141. Saṅkaro narakāyaiva kula-ghnānāṁ kulasya cha patanti pitaro eṣāṁ lupta-piṇḍodaka-kriyāḥ saṅkaraḥ.
¿Quieres hacer la translation? Baby, do
No.
it. Come on.
Such unwanted children.
Louder, louder.
Such unwanted children.
Épico. Narakāya
Make for hellish life.
eva
Certainly.
kula-ghnānāṁ
For those who are killers of the family.
kulasya
For the family.
cha
Also.
patanti
Fall down.
pitaraḥ
Forefathers.
hi
Certainly.
eṣāṁ
Of them.
lupta-piṇḍa
Stopped. Of offerings of food.
udaka
And water.
kriyāḥ.
Performances.
Translation. Prahlad, you want to take this?
An increase of unwanted population certainly causes hellish life for both the family and for those who destroy the family tradition. The ancestors of such corrupt families fall down because the performance of offering them food and water are entirely stopped.
Let's have a look at the 1972. So this is the 83 edition. Here's the 72. You want to read that translation again, Prahlad?
When there is an increase of unwanted population, a hellish situation is created, both for the family and for those who destroy the family tradition. In such corrupt families, there is no offering of obeisances of food and water to the ancestors.
Oblation.
Oblations.
Oblations.
Do you know what oblations means?
Nah.
Means like burning,
Uh,
burnt offerings. When there's an increase of unwanted population, a hellish situation is created, certainly causes hellish life. Okay? Both for the family and for those who destroy the family tradition. Created both for the family and for those who destroy the family tradition. In such corrupt families, the ancestors of such corrupt families, there is no offerings of oblations of food and water to the ancestors. The ancestors of such corrupt families fall down because the performances for offering them food and water are entirely stopped. That's completely different.
Yeah. I think I will go with this. This one.
Yeah, okay, well let's have a look at how is this justified? Saṅkaro narakāyaiva. Such unwanted children make for hellish life. Kula-ghnānāṁ kulasya cha. For those who are killers of the family. Kulasya, for the family. Cha, for both. Okay, yep. Patanti pitaro eṣāṁ, and their forefathers certainly fall down because the offering of food and water is stopped. Okay, I am a little perplexed about why this was done. To improve it? I mean, there's nothing wrong with this one here. This is rewriting. I checked the purport. It's exactly the same in both places with one exception, that in the 72 edition, the reference to the Bhagavatam verse appears after the translation, whereas in the 83 edition, it has been lifted to before the verse itself. Yeah. Who wants to take on reading the purport?
Dominica?
No, thank you.
Prala?
Sure.
Yeah.
Hit it.
According to the rules and regulations of fruitive activities, there is a need to offer periodic food and water to the forefathers of the family. This offering is performed by worship of Viṣṇu, because eating the remnants of food offered to Viṣṇu can deliver one from all kinds of sinful actions. Sometimes the forefathers may be suffering from various types of sinful reactions, and sometimes some of them cannot even acquire a gross material body and are forced to remain in the subtle bodies as ghosts. Thus, when remnants of prasādam food are offered to forefathers by descendants, the forefathers are released from ghostly or other kinds of miserable life. Such help rendered to forefathers is a family tradition, and those who are not in devotional life are required to perform such rituals. One who is engaged in the devotional life is not required to perform such actions. Simply by performing devotional service, one can deliver hundreds and thousands of forefathers from all kinds of misery. It is stated in the Bhagavatam,
Devarshi bhutapta nirnam pitrinam na kinkaro nayamri nicharajan sarvatmanaya sharanam sharanyam gato mukundam parihritya kartam.
anyone who has taken shelter of the lotus feet of Mukunda, the giver of liberation, giving up all kinds of obligation, and has taken to the path in all seriousness, owes neither duties nor obligations to the demigods, sages, general living entities, family members, humankind, or forefathers. Bhagavad-gita 11.541.
Srimad Bhagavatam.
Oh, Srimad Bhagavatam.
Yeah, Bhagavad-gita would probably be BG.
Okay. Such obligations are automatically fulfilled by performance of devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Saṅkaro narakāyaiva kula-ghnānāṁ kulasya cha patanti pitaro eṣāṁ lupta-piṇḍodaka-kriyāḥ. When there is an increase of unwanted population, a hellish situation is created both for the family and for those who destroy the family tradition. In such corrupt families, there is no offering of oblations of food and water to the ancestors. Om jnana-timirandasya jnananjana shalakaya chakshur unmilitam yena tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. When there is an increase of unwanted population. So Arjuna here is expanding his argument that he began with Krishna about, and when I say his argument, I don't mean like a quarrel. I mean an argument, like a logical argument. He started off by saying, why should we, who can see the sin in destroying a family, fight in this war? These other guys, they don't understand that destroying the family is sinful. When you destroy the family traditions are destroyed, and then the women become corrupted. And then he goes on further. In the previous verse, the corruption of the woman gives rise to unwanted population, and then when there's an increase of unwanted population, a hellish situation is created both for the family and for the people who destroyed the family tradition. So it's kind of, his argument is two-sided in that it is like, it's bad, it's going to be bad for me because I'm going to destroy the family tradition, and it's going to be bad for other people as well. It's not kind of like, well, the result will be good for me but it will be bad for everyone else. And it's not that, oh, the result will be bad for me but it will be good for everyone else. His argument is that the result of this is going to be bad for me and it's going to be bad for everyone else. That's the general form of his argument here. And then specifically, he makes that argument based on this chain of reasoning about the removal of protection, the rise in unwanted population, the reduction in the quality of the population, and then this kind of idea which is quite foreign to most modern readers, which is that offering oblations of food and water to the ancestors keeps them in the heavenly planets or stops them from getting a ghostly body. Which today, there are, like, if you go to the cemetery, Waikumete Cemetery, which is where my father, Prahlad's grandfather, is interred, you'll see people making offerings there, flowers, and like especially people from Asia and people from Polynesia. They have a very traditional, they still have that understanding.
Yeah.
In Bali, definitely they have that. They do it all the time.
Yeah. Even in Peru, they do that. When someone passed away, they get the body ready and they clean it and they put it in their casket, is that called?
Casket, yeah. Casket.
And then they cook a big meal and they serve, they put the photo of the person and they put that offering in front of the photo. Because the understanding is they are hungry and they need to eat before they continue the journey, and we don't want to send them hungry. Yeah, so that's the understanding. And we can say in the Vedic culture, when they do the offerings to the ancestors, they offer food to Krishna and then they give it to the living entity. And they do different type of yajnas to help this person to go through their journey to their next life. And I was talking to a pandit, and the pandit was saying, when I went to talk to the pandit, say, hey, I have one of my clients that passed away, and I can feel the energy of the person. What do you think I could do? And he suggested to chant this mantra for her to have peace, because the person got attached to me and wanted to follow me, and it was kind of feeling uncomfortable with her presence. And also asked me to have a full bath, complete bath, and to mentally talk to the person that it is time for you to move on, because you are not in this body anymore. So try to understand. And he was saying these souls, because they don't have the gross body, they will be like a children, following you here and there.
We've got half our faces on either side.
And then
and then you guys are in the middle.
Yeah, and so offer for he said for 10 days offer food to that person, because they are still in this subtle body. They're still understanding what's happening to them, and then they're gonna start moving after 10 days. So for 10 days there has to be this ritual of offering food to this person. I try my best for sure. And but we can observe these days when someone, specifically where I work, when someone passed away, the family members say, okay, it's fine, just send it to the to be cremated or for burial, and we're gonna come. They just arrange somebody else to do all of that, but they're just out of the picture.
Because you're around people leaving their bodies,
Yes.
quite a bit. Like in the last week or so, it's been 2 people.
3 people.
3.
Yeah, and it's kind of sad. When I read this one, I can refer to that this is true, because family members, for some reason, they don't understand that I have to offer this. As part of their help or assistance for these souls. They don't understand what actually is happening after they passed away. Therefore, they just, it's just the body cremated or do this. I don't want to do anything with it. In Maori culture, there's a little bit more involvement in that. They have the understanding for certain iwis, if the person is passing away or about to pass away, please open the window. So that person, the spirit, can go through the window and go wherever that person needs to go. And they need to bless the room. They need to do different karakiyas just to make the person, that soul, know they are there for him or her. Yeah, so it's a different process according to the culture. Yeah.
What do you guys think? Thoughts?
Could you scroll down?
You mean down to the bottom?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to just turn that thing off over there? It's making a humming noise. It'll probably get picked up by the microphone. Hit it. Project it too so people can hear.
I was just thinking, like, it says that one who's engaged in devotional life is not required to perform such actions. There's Arjuna's, like, the duty that Arjuna is supposed to have, or that he has and he's supposed to be fulfilling. Does that constitute, well, it should constitute devotional service, right?
This is a great point. Yeah. I mentioned that in Bali they do this, the piṇḍa, offering to the forefathers. You remember when we're in Bali, you see them do you remember that when we've been there? That, you see them twice, 3 times a day doing those offerings outside the shops. Remember there was all those flowers and incense and offerings, for the ancestors and for the demigods. And one of the issues that ISKCON has in Bali is that when Balinese people become Hare Krishnas, they stop doing that. Do you remember we were in Kuta, because you wanted to go to Kuta? You were like, yeah, we have to go to Kuta. I was like, which temple should we go to today? Because there's like 7 or 8 ISKCON temples there. We're going to like a different one every day on our scooter. And then Prahlad's like, I thought this was going to be a holiday, not a religious crusade. And I was like, why can't it be both? But he's like, well, I want to go to Kuta. So we go to Kuta. We end up in a bar, just hanging out there, and this band is playing, and then I talk to the guitarist in the band in a break, and he's a Brahmin. And then he's like reciting large sections of the Vedas and the Upanishads. And we're just like talking about Vedanta. And then he goes back to playing Guns N' Roses, But he tells me that he lives in Kuta. This was before COVID, way before, 2017 or 15?
16 or something.
16, yeah. And he said that he lives there in Kuta, but he has to go back once a month or once every couple of weeks, I think once a month, to participate in that ceremony in his village. So he lives in Kuta, he plays in a band and everything, but he has to go back to the village to do the ceremony there. And they have a particular brand of Hinduism there, and the Balinese Hinduism, and they eat meat. So part of their offering is eating meat. So of course when the Balinese become Hare Krishna devotees in ISKCON, they stop going to that, and it just causes a massive freak out. Imagine it, because people are like, the ancestors will fall from the heavenly planets. Like they're like, literally, these Hare Krishnas are destroying society. That's what they think, because they're not present to this point here. And Prabhupada brings this into this purport like real early on. Because that is necessary, but the devotees are not doing that. Hare Krishna devotees, it's like, it's part of the Vedic civilization, and Arjuna's arguing against fighting on the basis of that. So that would be an argument against becoming a Hare Krishna devotee. Because, to quote the same argument here, if I was arguing against Balinese people becoming Hare Krishnas, I would say, when there's an increase of these unwanted Hare Krishna devotees here in Bali, a hellish situation is created both for the family and for those who destroy the family tradition. In such corrupt families, there is no offering of oblations of food and water to the ancestors. Like literally Bhagavad-gita 141 is an argument against ISKCON in Bali. So Prabhupada is making the point, as you say, that because Arjuna is performing his duty here, and directly under the order of Krishna, he falls into this category. The obligations are automatically fulfilled by performance of devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Yeah. That's all I had.
It doesn't really, I mean, That's okay for Arjuna, right? But remember at the outset I said this is an argument that it's bad for him and bad for other people as well. So that might address it for him, but what about everyone else?
Interesting that he's bringing now this argument for Krishna. First was women and children. Now it's like the ancestors.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else?
He just doesn't want to kill his friends and family, you know. He's got to put everything on the table. It's understandable.
Yeah, for sure. A regular person will put that one on the table for sure. Like arguments like by the woman, by the children, by the ancestors. But these days, I don't think anyone can bring that one.
Oh, of course they can. Come on. It's like, do you want to kill your grandmother? Of course. They just trotted that out in the whole pandemic propaganda. Same thing. What about your grandma? So they trotted that out. The children, not really the children, think of the children. He actually does go even further in the next verse. 142.
Hey, spoilers.
Well, tune in to find out what happens in the next episode.
Yeah. And it's important for us to respect our elders, not only the living ones in this planet Earth, also our ancestors that come behind our grandparents and great-great-grandparents, because of them we have this body. It's just a lineage, the karmic cycle, and I think it's our duty to take care of their take care of them spiritually, because their liberation is on us. They are counting with us. It's like, okay, I made a mistake, I'm dead, I cannot do anything because I only have the subtle body, but you have the gross body, and you can do what is right to do and pray to God and do what is needed to do to save me. But what's happening these days, not even that is happening. We don't even remember about our forefathers. And obviously we don't know them, but we know that we have forefathers, and we know they are in their subtle body, and it is nice to pay respects to them.
Yeah, it is said elsewhere in the Bhagavatam that we are born indebted to the king, to the grains, to the earth, to the demigods, and to our forefathers, our parents and our ancestors.
Yeah.
Also, it says that when one attains liberation, 100 generations previous of ancestors are also liberated.
Was it 100? Or less? I thought it was 10.
Let us find out.
It's 10,000. I think it's
10,000. Let's find out. Let's do the search. Okay, so generations liberated. That should find it.
Okay.
Let's see. Panchadrivida, morning walk. When it says in the Shastra that 100 generations past and future, I did think about the future as well, but I didn't want to let you guys off the hook. Anyway, they're liberated. What kind of liberation do they get? One who becomes a devotee, the statement is that 14 generations of his family. It's in the realm of 10. Everyone for 21 generations. Okay.
Increasing now.
3 generations.
21 generations.
Yeah. No,
In London, you said 13. Up to 14 generation. 14 generations. Anyway.
Yeah, so
So what is that? 1 till... It's either 1 or anywhere up to 100?
Yeah, it's from 100 to 3 to 100. Teachings of Lord Kapila. 21 generations there.
Well, the top one says in Shastra, it says, but there's no Shastric.
There's no, there is no,
reference to the
Exactly.
where it comes from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let us see if we can find it. 710. Is it 710? Bhagavatam 710. The exact number is obviously up for discussion, but without a doubt, it is a fact. Prahlad Maharaj, in response to this prayer, the Lord assured him that in the family of such a pure devotee as he, not only the devotee's father, but his forefathers for 21 generations are liberated.
If you're a pure devotee.
Yeah.
If you are so, just 10 or maybe 14. Joking.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, okay. So it's like, maybe that's the reason for the
pure as
different...
you are, the more he gets liberated.
The different numbers.
Yeah.
One who hears and chants. Okay, it's interesting. It says in the... This is in the chapter summary. It says that. But where it says that in the text, I don't know.
I'm sure anyone that is watching this podcast can
go through and find it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, another good point that comes from this is, it was you who made that point. It's like, sure, it's easy to say that, but can that be justified from the Shastra?
Yeah. And the other thing is, because at some point we're going to become the forefathers. What are we doing right now for our new generation to come, or that is going to come? We need to do the proper education to these children, to our children. Therefore, they will learn how to live a life that is principled.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not going to be counting with them, liberate me, help me, I'm in the gross body, on the subtle body. I want to come back, I want to do the right thing in this lifetime, or in the next lifetime. I want to serve Krishna because I know what I did and I want to do better in my next lifetime. But we can't, because we counting in this new generation for them to rescue us or to help us out. But if we don't do right now what we need to do for our people, for our children, then hey, we're going to only have what we sow, right? We're going to reap what we sow. Mm-hmm. So it's best for us now to do it, so our children will have the same duty to raise their children that are according to the scriptures.
Yeah, I mean, everyone thinking that, oh, my children will do it, and then they think, oh, my children will do it, and pretty soon you've gone 100 generations deep, and no one's done it, and now you've rolled off the top.
Yeah, and that is the problem.
Missed out.
Yeah, that is the problem, because we're passing the responsibility to somebody else, but we're not taking responsibility and accountability now. And that is the biggest problem. That is the culture, the psychology of people now. Oh, somebody else can fix it, but me, no. And that's not the way to go.
It's interesting how in Arjuna's argument, he argues this is bad for me and it's bad for others. And then this idea of achieving liberation and then liberating 100 generations before and after, or 21 generations before, or 14 generations before, or whatever it happens to be, right? Is that idea is that this is good for me and it's good for others. And you can see that those two things are very powerful. In my landmark communication access to power course, the course leader said something that I'm pretty sure is not in the course design, but it was just her personal realization that she said. She said to me, I think it was in a break when we were having a conversation. She says to me, the best motivations are a combination of altruistic and selfish. Like they're both. Not purely selfish, not purely altruistic. The best motivation is one that is selfish and altruistic. Both of them are there. So you can see that Arjuna's argument here is of that nature, It's like selfish and altruistic. And the liberation of the multiple generations is both selfish and altruistic as well.
Does the multiple generations include you? Like you? Or just the generations above and below you?
Well, since it's triggered by you achieving liberation, then that's kind of like...
Yeah.
You're included in that.
Yeah, included.
Yeah, like you're at the cause of it. You caused that to happen.
Yeah. That's why the scriptures is one of our guide books
Mhm.
for us to read and act and behave according to the instructions, as otherwise we're just going to be lost.
Yeah. Anything else you're thinking of, Prahlad?
Nope.
You know, I've been in Bali a couple of times. I love it there. It's like it's a Vedic kingdom. It's amazing. And I often think that, you know, like it's rather than going away from the village and not going back and doing the piṇḍa, I would, if I were there, I don't know, this is kind of like uncommitted speaking because I'm not there, you know? But like, if I were there, and I don't know about how easy this is to do, right? But longer term, the way to do this would be to have the devotees go back to the village and participate in the ceremony. And not eat meat or anything, but participate in the ceremony as a brahmana and as acknowledging the you know, the validity of the thing. It's Vedic culture. It's like undermining that. I'd go there and participate, and I would also speak from this, and I wouldn't eat the meat, and I would explain, you know, what it is to be a brahmana. Just yeah.
I guess this is just a mix of, you know, what the culture and how from ancestors to new generation has been changed and is present right now, and therefore they think, oh, this is valid to offer meat or whatever, you know. But according to the Vedas, there isn't any pure brahmana anymore, so they cannot do any killing, because the killing has to be specifically done where you chant mantras. It's in this lifetime I take your life, and in next lifetime I will come back and you will take my life away. There isn't those mantras chanted anymore, and the force of the purity is not anymore in Kali Yuga. We can attempt to follow as strict as possible, and for sure Krishna can help us through the process, and we can only chant, right? Because Krishna says that's the best option you have in this lifetime, the best gift.
Yeah, 100%. The Kali Yuga is an ocean of faults, but this age has one good redeeming quality, which is that simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, one can attain the results of performing all of the sacrifices and all of the ritualistic duties that are performed in the other yugas and which are very difficult to perform. They can all be achieved in this lifetime along with love of God simply by chanting this Maha Mantra. Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam, total world victory of Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, thanks
Hare
for coming
Krishna.
on today. We'll get more commentary from you in the next one.